Again, well, good evening, everyone. Thank you all for your interest in becoming a Lowell police officer. As you know, being a police officer is not easy, but it's a very rewarding career. We strive to increase a diverse workforce. The first step is becoming a police officer is taking the civil service exam, and that's some of the things we're going to touch on tonight. The people I work with upstairs, I thought it would be a good idea if I kind of gave my own background, even though I'm much older than all of you. But I started off here in the PD as a civilian. My father was a police officer here. My other brother, Kevin, actually was the chief out in Draken. I started as a dispatcher here, and then I worked in the sign shop. And then when I finally got a high enough score to get on high enough on the police list to get hired, I got hired in 1987. So don't do the math. So I was very fortunate to rise through the ranks. I spent my first 5 years on midnights in the acre, which most of you kids, I believe, are from Lowell. So the acre back then was the whole city was a quite different place at the time. So I learned a lot those first 5 years. And like I said, I grew up in this city, so I knew a lot of people. And some people I didn't know that I got to know because I was a police officer, and I was rewarded by that. After that, I went to the narcotics unit. I spent 5 years doing that. That was also a busy time in the early 1990s. And then I got promoted, went back to patrol. Then I got moved into the criminal bureau where we did some of the bigger cases, the homicides and so forth. I spent 7 years there. I got made lieutenant while I was there. I made captain, and it's when you get promoted, you start all over again. So I went back to midnights, got myself back to early nights, and then I was given an opportunity by Superintendent LaValle at the time. He brought me in and told me, all right, you've done just about every police thing there is to do here. Now you need to learn the admin part of the job, which I fought for 2 years. I stayed on nights because that's where all the young officers were, and I enjoyed watching them work. They went out every night to do the right thing, and I did some great police work, and it was fun to watch. So I finally bit the bullet, and I went upstairs in the admin. I became the public information officer. I became in charge of internal affairs and training. So that kind of lined me up for the deputy superintendent's job, which I got promoted deputy superintendent after that. I was only deputy superintendent for 11 months, and fortunate enough for me, Eileen Dunaway became the city manager, and she chose me to be the chief. And even though there's some pretty tough times right now to be the chief, I wouldn't change it for anything. I wouldn't have changed anything for this job. I've had a great career here, and I'm hoping that you all have the same opportunities that I had. I came to work every night and had a good time. I had some laughs, seeing things that people never see, and I got to meet some really great people. So I really wish you the best of luck. We're here to help you get you through this process, and get you through the academy if you score high enough on the exam. And hopefully someday you'll get to see exactly what I was talking about tonight. So I guess, Mary Ann, I get to turn it over to Mike Marshall. Is that where we're going next? Okay, yep. So now we're going to talk to another Lowell star, Mike Marshall. So Mike, there you go.
Thank you, Chief. Good evening, everybody. My name is Mike Marshall. I'm currently assigned as a staff instructor to the Lowell Police Academy. My journey here, a little bit different, same thing. I'm a Lowell kid, born and raised in the city, moved, I had a single mother growing up, and just moved all areas, couldn't even really lock down a certain neighborhood that I really belonged to. But I know most of these areas growing up, met a few good police officers when I was a kid coaching wrestling, and I had Mike Kunzler. He was a coach of mine with wrestling, and I was very fortunate at that time to meet with him, and made a good impression on me, and went and did my thing in college, came back, tried to get on, and unfortunately when I came back from college, I went to Arizona State. I came back and I moved for a few months, and I missed the residency. So I had taken the test back in like 2001, but my residency wasn't there, and I really didn't have much knowledge. Kind of like today, you guys, the chief and the chief's office, they put this together for you, Mary Ann, the chief, and Carol. This is a huge step, and you guys being here is a huge step and an advantage for yourself to have a good knowledge of how this process works. I really didn't know how the process worked as a young kid. I had a lot of role models, and I knew I wanted to seek law enforcement. But when I moved back from college, for like a couple months, I'm like, I want to live in Boston. Who doesn't, right? When you come back from college. So I wanted to live in Boston, and that 3 months kind of hurt me in regards to my residency. So that took me a little bit of a different direction. I ended up scoring well, but being outside of the residency. And I totally get it. And I went to New Hampshire for a few years, reestablished my residency here in Lowell, retook the test, came back on, and I've been very fortunate here. I was able to did patrol for a couple years, and I went to family services as a detective for like 7 years. So I worked with domestic violence victims, sexual assault victims, a lot of children cases, juvenile stuff. From there, I, like the chief knows, I like coaching and training, and you know, they gave me the opportunity to come in and be the staff instructor for the Lowell Police Academy. So I'm going to share a couple different slides with you guys to give you some information on what you can expect as you try to seek employment in the law, you know, with the Lowell Police Department. I think the chief and the chief's office, they do a great job of putting these things out for you guys. Mary Ann will have a couple more links that she'll add to it, where if you do sign up for the civil service test, we will, with all the Lowell residents, have another training for you. So again, that's another thing to make sure that you guys take part of. So let me share this here with you guys. Share. Okay. So again, can you see this? I'm going to start it here. Is that up and running? Yep. Okay. So again, application deadline, these are a couple key dates, all right? April 20th, okay? And we do have a person from civil service here with us tonight. So if there's anything that if anything has changed, she will correct me in the end of my presentation. But again, application, that's the first step, right, guys? So the first step is to play the game. You gotta take the test. You have to take the civil service. The chief, we've been doing this for a few years. A couple years ago, we were out in the different colleges trying to get people to come on board. You have to take the test. That's the only way that we can really even reach you. So you got to take the test. They have some sample like test questions. And again, Mary Ann in the chief's office, they will set up for this guy, a captain who does these sessions to help you prepare for the test. But first things first, you got to get that application in. The written test is going to be on June 12th. So the other thing is, make sure that you have that day off, right? Make sure you have that day off, because that's the day of the test. The processing fee is $100 for municipal police and MBTA transition police. If you want to also click Lowell and say a state trooper, it would be $150. All right. One thing I would say, if you're a resident of Lowell, Lowell should be your first choice. Not that I'm biased. I live here in the city with my 3 kids. We need good people. So Lowell should be your first choice. Okay. If you don't live in the city, or you think you have residency issues, where you're residing a year prior to the test should be your spot. And maybe, and I might have Suzanne answer a question on, she'll answer some questions on that. There is a financial, civil service does provide a financial hardship waiver. Obviously, it's been a tough year with the pandemic and everything like that. If you can't afford it, please fill out the fee waiver. Okay, make sure that you apply, and then maybe that you can get that money taken off. After the test, if you get into our civil service, will provide us a list, okay, of the top scores, and we'll go through that scores. Basically, a list will come out. If you're on that list, you have 5 business days to come in and sign that list. Okay, once you sign that list, you'll get an application for the Lowell Police Department. And again, first impressions are everything. Just like any interview or any first impression thing, when you come sign the list, you know, make a good first impression. When you return your application, I can't tell you, I always try to make 2 copies of everything. You make the application, then you make a copy for your records, but you also should make 2 copies prior to filling it out. Because I've seen it with being part of the hiring process for the past couple of years, where people have like coffee stains, half pencil. Now that's not a disqualifier, but it's not a good first impression. I think you guys here today, showing up here today is like I said, that first good step. After that, you get the background investigation, oral interview, okay, and then you would have after that point, a conditional offer letter would be given. Again, with anything in your application, be truthful. Do not omit things that you think that might look at you in a bad light. Never be ashamed of everything that you've ever gone through in life. Everything looks at it, they look at everything as a whole. Okay. If you had a tough child, we've had candidates that have been through, all sorts of backgrounds. It doesn't exclude you, but be truthful, right? That's the biggest thing that our community wants, is police officers that are truthful. They can trust them. And, so you don't want to omit anything if you think it's going to look at you in a bad light. You throw it all on that application and just be truthful, because if not, it'll come up in the background. And and again, there's no room for somebody who's not trustworthy. There's just the community, they don't want to see that. After you get a conditional offer letter, from your background to your oral interview, your next steps would be your medical, and then it would be the PAT, the physical abilities test, administered by the Human Resource HRD. Okay, and now I have a little clip on that I'm going to show you. That's an obstacle course. Then we would have a psychological, and then a physical fitness test to get into the academy. So prior to coming into the police academy, you have to be able to pass a physical fitness test, the 30% on the Cooper standards. And the Cooper standards are, it's a 1.5 mile run. It's a 300-meter run. So if a lot of you guys are familiar with Colley Stadium. It's kind of like that home, and Colley Stadium's usually open. It's almost like, it's not a full lap, but it's basically from the corner of the home stadium stairs to the corner of the visitor stairs. So that track lap, and usually Colley is open during the spring and the summer. You have push-ups and sit-ups within a minute. So that is just to get into the academy. That's something different than your the physical abilities test. After you pass those, you have an academy that's approximately 22 to 24 weeks. You'd be with me. Okay, we'd have a lot of fun. We have some fellow past academy people here with us tonight, and we had a lot of fun. And then after that, you go into the FTO phase. So there's a lot of steps, and I don't want you to feel overwhelmed. It's all attainable. The physical, I always say, control the controllables. Control what you can control. The physical fitness side, if you're really serious about this position and you want to, go through the academy, and you don't want to be overwhelmed by that, you got to just get out there and just do some little things. Even if you start walk, slight jog, then run, but you have time. From this year, the test is in June. Our hiring process would come back up probably next January. So you'd have time. So by today, if this is the commitment that you're making, most of you, anybody can, get themselves ready for this test. Again, like I said, the LPD application, make sure it's neat, legible, be forthcoming and honest. Background investigation, be honest with your assigned investigator, provide all the necessary documents. And if there is something that you believe is, just take accountability for your actions. Just because something happened in your background, or, just take accountability for whatever you're looking at. Oral board, I see this a lot. I mean, have a working knowledge of the police department. So when you come in to interview with the police department, you're sitting down with the command staff, have an understanding of our structure here, our core values, things that the chief and the chief's office and the deputies, they want, everybody within the department to have a good understanding of. Show up early, ready for your interview. Again, professional dress is always recommended. You look the part, look like you really want the job. And that's the same stuff with there. Again, the HRD, the medical, you got to pass the medical, the PAT, the physical abilities test, and the psychological test that will be given to you after the PAT. I'm going to share another screen real quick. Here again, the physical fitness test prior to being accepted in the academy, you would have 2 cracks at this. You'd get to try to pass it once. And we also do here, the chief has us working with you guys when you're getting even into our hiring process. I kind of meet with the potential candidates and try to get you out here prior to this test and try to help you work on your physical fitness so that you can get to where you need to be. But the physical fitness test, again, is the 1.5 mile run, push-ups, sit-ups, and 300-meter run. And it's at the minimum of 30% Cooper standards. And I think Marianne will, in the chat, she'll link that so you guys can see where that is. Let me just, and I'm going to share the physical abilities test is an obstacle course. It's a little bit different. And again, the HRD, this is all online. I'm just going to show you a minute or two. I posted it in the chat, and this is the obstacle course.
This event is to simulate chasing and subduing a suspect. This is a timed approximately 370-yard obstacle course marked by cones. In order to pass this event, you will need to cover the course quickly. Your score will be the total time it takes to complete this entire event. However, you must keep in mind that police officers perform their duties in a way that is quick and efficient without risking unnecessary injuries. As you will see, you will be faced with stairs and a wall to climb and other obstacles to go through and around. Just prior to beginning this event, you will get into the simulated vehicle and sit in a normal seated position facing forward with your back against the seat back. When it is time to begin this event, the monitor will issue the commands ready, followed by go. Once the monitor says go, you will exit the vehicle on the left side, enter the oval course in a clockwise direction, and begin to complete 4 laps of the course. As you circle the course, the cones will be to your right, marking the inside of the course. Near the end of the first lap, go through the window. At the start of the second lap, navigate the uneven terrain in the corner that includes a 90-degree turn. Go over the 4-foot wall on the 3rd lap. On the 4th lap, enter inside the course cones and climb up the steps, across the platform, and down the steps, touching each step on the way up and on the way down, with alternating feet. Then continue on the inside of the course cones directly to the first serpentine cone. Weave through the numbered cones to the inside of the track to complete the serpentine section and immediately proceed to the power station. When approaching the power station, proceed directly to the marked box on the floor that is between the weight stacks and the hanging back.
This is probably out of all the obstacles, especially for the females, this is sometimes a little bit hard. It's hard to train for this. You do get HRD. You can do, you get a practice on this. You can also, if you fail it, you can do a retake on it as well. You can make a pulley system, put it over like a pull-up bar and put like a heavy bag or something, you know, and look to pull it down. But overall, all of these obstacles, if you're in good physical shape, you should be able to pass it. We've had a lot of people, we've had some really good success to pass that, but sometimes it's nerves, it's anxiousness and not being ready. So being in good physical shape, overall good physical shape, will help you with your nerves and being prepared. Like what you're doing tonight, even at the test, taking the test, sometimes your nerves can get in the way and you can't, you know, just a couple of different things with test taking. You got to answer all the questions. I don't know how many candidates that I've talked to that just said they just skipped over things and left them blank. It's a multiple choice. Break it down to the, you know, the best 2 answers that you feel most confident with and go with something. You know, you got to answer all those questions. again, like I said, control the controllables. You know, if this is the career that you want to pursue, I'd be happy to see you at the academy in the next few years. If you guys get on, I'd give you all anything that I can do to help you get through. Like the chief said, we're looking for good people. You know, I have 3 kids in this city. We're looking for good officers. There's going to be a lot of turnaround in this. It's typically they hire anywhere, since I've been part of this process, anywhere between 8 and 15, and that depends on the budget of the city. So there's a lot of movement. There's a lot of opportunity here, and again, I know the chief and the chief's office, they're consistently looking for good people to become board. So I'll shoot you my email and I'll put it in the chat. If you guys have any questions outside of here, feel free. You can shoot me an email and I'll be happy to answer them.
Great. Thank you, Officer Marshall. I do want to mention there's a lot of links in the chat for everyone on tonight. So please take advantage of those direct links to the exam entrance, the waiver fees, links to the Cooper Standards info, videos. So a lot of good information there. Now we're going to go to Officer Bolivar and to give us his story. Tell us how he got here.
Hi everybody, so my name is Officer Bolivar. I came onto the department in 2018 from the Lowell Police Academy. I grew up in the Centerville section of the city, and then in 2009 I moved to the Avenues in the Highlands, the housing development there. Also, like Officer Marshall, raised by a single mother. Just like Officer Marshall again, I had a lot of positive role models growing up that were officers. One who recently retired was Officer Chris Smith. He had a huge impact in my life with football, keeping me busy, keep me out of trouble. And just seeing him and as a positive role model that he was, guided me to become a police officer here in the city. After high school, I went to Bridgewater State University, where I pursued a major in criminal justice. Upon graduation of Bridgewater State, I dispatched for about 11 months in a small town in East Bridgewater, adjacent to Bridgewater State. And then in 2018, I got on here, where I've worked midnights for the past 2.5 years and recently just came to the early night shift.
Great, thank you. Officer Coleman?
Hi guys. Like they said, I'm Samantha Coleman. I'm new, literally just graduated from the academy back in December. So I'm still pretty new, just got off of the FTO phase last week. So I'm now on my own, but a little bit about my background. I'm not actually from Lowell. I moved here about 5 years ago. I'm born and raised in Kentucky. Like both of the previous officers that spoke, I grew up in a big family, single parent household, very sports oriented, grew up playing sports, went to college for sports. I had great role models in my life. Both my godparents are retired Louisville police officers, and they had an incredible impact on my life. And actually, I thought I'd be back home being an officer, but I came here for an internship and I never left. But I really, really love it in Lowell. It's so diverse. I love how there's so many different cultures and it's literally like a melting pot. You can get anything here. You encounter so many different types of people and I really gravitate towards that. So for me, when I came here and I got my condo here, I realized that I'm digging roots here. And if this is where I'm gonna live, I need to start looking into the process of getting on here. I didn't know any officers in Lowell or in Massachusetts for that matter. So for me, it was like, okay, what's the process? So I just started doing research. I just started getting online and Googling. I would call some precincts and try to speak with some of the administrators who would talk to me. And they all said, just go to mass.gov and just read the civil service information, which was like, okay, but this is what you guys are doing right here. Definitely soak it all in because that's what helped me. They offered a training for people who are trying to get on when I was looking into the process, and it helped me so much. It's like they tell you about the process so you're not caught off guard. You're not wondering like, what the heck am I supposed to do? There's a test. You have to, sign up to take the test. You need to study to take the test. Yes, it can be a lot of common sense questions, but if it helps you to study to prepare beforehand, there's plenty of online things that you can research. Literally just look for police exam prep. You'll find something. That's what I did. I just took a bunch of little small tests over and over again, and it helped for rather well. And like he said, they want good people. I want to work with people who are not just, clean cut and say the right things when I'm talking to you, but when someone's not watching, I want people who are also upstanding citizens, people who are invested in their community. For me, not being from here, I thought it was important for me to get involved in the community that I wanted to serve in. So I worked out of the shelter in Lowell. I wanted to get to know the community. I wanted to see the people that I'd be interacting with. And I found that to be very helpful. Volunteering in the city, just getting involved, it's very important. And especially with the things that are going on with, COVID, that's definitely put some restrictions on things and pretty much stopped a lot of the things that are happening within the city. So I know it's a little tough now, but don't be discouraged at all. Things are coming back around, things are starting to open up again. But for me, this is a lifelong dream and I wouldn't change a thing. The process is hard. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. The process is long. Take a good look at Officer Marshall's face. You will never forget it because he's hardcore. He's tough, but he's telling you the truth. Literally start now with the running, start off slow, like he said, and just work your way up. It makes a difference in the long run. But I commend you guys for wanting to come into the profession at this day and age, especially how people view officers. Don't let that discourage you at all, at all. If this is what you want to do, if this is something that you're passionate about, you won't let anything hold you back. But best of luck to all you guys.
Thank you.
Samantha wouldn't say it, but she was one of my toughest recruits in the academy because she was a Division I basketball player. And do you remember those box jumps, Samantha?
Why you gotta bring that up? Why you gotta bring that up?
Because you were tough. And if anybody's ever done the
gosh.
box jumps, the poor thing, she hit her shin on the box jump, and you literally could see bone, and it just never stopped her. She never, no matter what I threw in front of her, that woman would not stop. She worked her butt off, and I appreciated it. And she did. I get it. She worked at the shelter, I believe, and Samantha came and me and her talked during her process, and she was very prepared and she knew what she wanted. And we had a lot of fun. Samantha, we had a lot of fun together.
We did.
And I'm excited to see her career grow.
Thank you.
I know. Thank you, Officer Marshall. I know the chief wanted to say something, and Chief.
Unmute might help. Okay, I'll be quick because I know there's probably going to be some questions here and we have people here to answer them, but I just want to drive home as you listen to our officers what we're trying to accomplish here. And we want a police force to reflect its community, not just in appearance, but in life experiences. We want police officers out there who have all this power to be able to know how to deal with people because they've been there. They've walked those steps, the same steps they've walked. They might have been raised by a single parent. They might have been raised by no parents. They've gone through the Lowell school system. They've seen the good and the bad of this city. And we want people to come into this job and walk the walk. That we want the people that lived in the city, the police. We don't want people coming from out of town and maybe not treating our people right. I think it's very important that we know each other and we treat each other with respect. It's very important here. When you see the core values of the Lowell Police Department, those core values were put together when my administration took over, and those core values were picked by the very officers in the police department. We asked them, we put together a committee and basically asked them how they want their police department to reflect to the community. So I highly suggest that you know those core values, and that's what we live by every day here. And the number one is respect is the number one. But you should check those out. And the other thing I think we need to touch on a little bit more, again, this was all seemed probably daunting to many of you, but, never taken a civil service exam, but we help you with that. And that's what Samantha was talking about. We pay for the course, you don't have to pay for it. The police department pays for it. And I think we have 4 sessions And I know that we've hired people that actually took that course and then took a civil service exam and was successful and got a good mark and are actually on this police department now. So it's our way of reaching out to you guys, the people in our community, to try to help you succeed in the city. So that's what this is all about tonight. So again, if you have questions down the road, you have questions tonight, if you want to speak to me, call my office. I'll speak to you. But I think, Mary Ann, we're probably going to go to questions now. Is that the next thing? But
I think we have, thank you, Chief. We have Susan from Civil Service here to say a few things, and then we'll go to questions. Thank you. Oh, Maida, you're muted. Hold on one second.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
I'm Susan Tolson from the Civil Service Unit. That was very thorough, and I don't have a lot to say. I just wanted to touch base on a couple of talking points. I wanted to let you know that the deadline to apply is April 20th. You can apply up to May 4th. That is the drop dead last day, but anytime, any date after the 20th, you will have to pay a $50 additional late fee. As they covered, the exam is June 12th. Residency preference is on the exam. There's a place to fill that out. And for residency, you would have to live in Lowell from June 12th, 2020 to June 12th, 2021. The best place to go for all of this information is directly on our website at mass.gov/civil service. You go to
Oh, you're muted. You accidentally muted. Sorry.
How am I getting muted? On our website at mass.gov/civil service, click on exam schedules, toggle down to entry-level exams, click on the police, state police, and municipal police link, and everything is right there. There's even the link to click to apply, and it gives you all the directions of what you need to do to go to just apply, set up an account if you don't already have one. See, what else can I say? That's basically all I wanted to let you know. Our website, the deadline to apply, residency preference, and if you have any questions or difficulties applying, you can email us at civilservice@mass.gov. And that's pretty much it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Susan. I did just put a link to the website in the chat box. And
Okay.
I'm also going to, so it's civilservice@mass.gov. I'm going to put that in the chat as well. So you have that as well. Now we'd like to open it up to questions. Does anybody have any questions?
I was just wondering, could someone reiterate what the FTO phase is exactly again, once you get out of the academy?
Sure. Officer Marshall, do you want to, or Chief?
Yeah, the FTO phase is basically a field training officer program. Most police departments have it. It helps you get adjusted to the police department. So it goes over. So basically, we have a 12-week program or either 12 to 6 weeks, 16 weeks. And you go with different officers on different shifts and you go over policies. They shadow you and they basically monitor your daily activity throughout this course. And whoever you start with, you usually go back with depending on help and stuff like that. And it's just a great way to, it's just another phase for you to learn how to get off on your own and be by yourself. So it's another support system for you. And like Samantha said, last year's class, so just to think of the timeline, and last year was a lot different because of COVID and the pandemic. So they graduated in December, and right now they're just getting off FTO. So, they went into the academy, I think the end of July, they got out in December, and then now they're just finishing up their FTO phase.
Thank you, that makes sense.
Thank you. Any other questions?
I have two questions.
Sure.
So need to be citizenship or only resident permanent I can apply for?
So you have to be a citizen, is that the question?
Yeah, because I'm only resident permanent for now.
I think
So-
maybe civil service can answer that, but I'm pretty sure you have to be a resident, but, I mean, a citizen, but if civil service could answer that, probably should appreciate it.
I don't think you do have to be. I think that like for a resident of Lowell, you have to live in Lowell, but you don't have to be a citizen to take the exam.
Okay. Okay. My second question is, I finished the high school and my culturing in Brazil. So my diploma coming, my dad gonna send it to me. So what I need to do? I need to do something right here in the high school right here for complement hours I have in Brazil, or just go to the city hall and step up my diploma I have from Brazil.
I'm going to defer to civil service as well on that.
Yeah,
I'm not entirely certain. I would suggest that you put that question in an email to civilservice@mass.gov. It's possible that you could take a GED or some, I'm not really entirely sure if your high school education from Brazil is transferable or not. I couldn't really answer that off the top of my head, but if you address that through the civil service email, someone will be able to answer that for you.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Lillian, I hope that works out for you, but you're actually probably the first one we've had asked that question. I'm not really getting involved in the hiring process, but whatever we can do to help you, absolutely, reach out and we'll track the information down for you.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
If you put your email address in the chat, I can try to follow up on that for you.
Sure. On the way now.
Great. Thank you, Susan. Great. Other questions?
Just a couple
I have a
questions.
question.
We'll do John and then Desiree. We'll do John first
Okay.
and then, okay, thank you. Sorry.
Yes, just a couple of questions. Obviously, the residency is self-explanatory, but I was wondering if the hiring extended to neighboring towns, for example, Drake. So I'll let you guys answer that, and then I'll go to my next one.
Okay, I don't know if I didn't
heard-
hear all of it. John. So you want to know if you could get on the Drake list? Is that what's going on?
No, it's so I currently live in Drake, so I was wondering what, if the residency requirement extended to neighboring towns, or if it was just drop dead for Lowell only.
For Lowell only.
Lowell only, okay.
Yeah.
All right, and then I had another question. I have a buddy who's in the Lawrence PD. He lives in Lowell, so he wanted me to ask for about transfers, if that was obviously a different process, and if you're taking transfers.
See, everybody wants to come to Lowell. No, I'm kidding. We don't usually take laterals. We have, there are lateral officers here from various departments over the years. We usually do that when we can't, if we're in between an academy class, but even then we want our people to go through our own academy, because we're like probably one of the only community policing based police academies in the state. A lot of people want to send their people here, but that's all going to change when post comes in, but that's a story for another day. But I don't think we're going to be taking them right now, but then again, you never know, because it is now we're hiring 10 this year, but we're actually down 20. And because of financial things this year, I had a discussion with the city manager. We are the fourth, or we always argue with Cambridge, the fourth largest PD in the state. So we run about 250 police officers in the city. That's why there's so many opportunities for different ways to grow here. But I would tell your friend up there in Lawrence, first I will tell him that I won't tell Roy Vass, the chief, he's looking to leave because I don't know his name anyway. But if we do do laterals, we'll put it out there, so he'll be able to pick up that, because we send it out to all the PDs in the state, anyone willing to come to Lowell and, and see if it'll work for you. But we've been pretty fortunate with the laterals that we've gotten. We got them from Waltham, we've had them from Townsend. So, just if I would advise John, I would advise him just to keep his ear to the ground, because I just can't answer that now. I wish him luck.
All right, thank you.
I do want to just add to that too, Chief, that we do, like the chief said, it goes out to the departments, but we also post it on our own social media pages, Facebook, Twitter. So you can keep an eye out there as well. Desiree?
Okay. My only question is the exact date of the exam is June 12th, correct?
Yes.
Because I had received an email stating that it was gonna send me a date and a location 2 weeks prior.
The date right now that's listed up on civil service is the June 12th date. As far as location, I don't know about that. I don't know if Susan has any information about location, but the date is June 12th. Correct?
Okay, I just needed to know so I could take it off of work.
Oh, yeah.
They
And that
usually
won't
try
change.
to schedule everyone as close to where they are as possible. However, based on the numbers of people and how much the number of people that each place can hold, sometimes it's not an exact system. So you may not be exactly where you want to be, but as close as possible. You could always send an email to civil service, making a suggestion. I can't guarantee that they can accommodate a specific request, but they may be able to, based on the circumstances, comply with a specific suggestion.
Thank you. But I just want to also confirm the date itself won't change. So people that need to take the day off of work, the day is going to stay June 12th, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Desiree, what I've seen from my experiences, I know I took my entrance exam, I think it was at Lowell High School, but every promotional exam I took after that, until I got to the point where I didn't have to take an exam, which was above the rank of captain here, we were all sent to Haverhill, down 495. That's where they used to have a lot of their exams. Again, like Susan says, we don't know what's going to happen. How many people take the test will affect, I think, I'm going to get that right, Susan, where these centers will be. So you just still, but they will mail that to you. Make sure you send them the right address when you apply.
Notices
Yeah,
to appear go out 2 weeks before the exam date.
Okay.
Great. Thank you. Any other questions? No, I just want to reiterate, like the chief had mentioned before, we will be, for those of you that live in Lowell and that are have signed up to take the test, we will be sending out a notification. It goes out via civil service. They send it out. We will hire someone. I think actually Officer Marshall mentioned it. He's a captain, and we'll pay for that. It'll be free of charge for the attendees, and it's a prep session for the test. And once we have that information, we'll be it'll go out directly to those who have signed up to take the test.
Right, and these classes usually run $200 to $250, and the reason we reached out to the youth in our community is, sometimes it's tough times right now, and we want to make sure that we help you as much as we can. So that's why the PD will pay for the teachers to help tutor you to make sure you're successful at getting a good mark on this exam and going to the next step. So I really appreciate you guys coming tonight. And if we have anything else, Mary Ann, or if there's no more questions?
If there's no more questions, I think we're good.
Okay, I'd like to thank the Lowell officers that spoke tonight. Great job. Susan, thanks for showing up.
Thank you.
And I wish you guys all the best of luck. All right, don't let it intimidate you. Keep going.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
Have a good
you.
night.
Good night.
Nice to meet you all.
Thank you.